Next year, Universal Orlando's Epic Universe is going to be opening up in Florida. And a lot of people are saying that this has the potential to be a Disney killer. And I don't necessarily know what they mean by that being a Disney killer, because I don't think it's going to necessarily surpass Walt Disney World as the #1 most visited theme park in the world, because it still has a long way to go in order to gain that title. But I do think what they're doing with Epic Universe has the potential to take away a significant amount of business away from Walt Disney World in Florida. And if that's the case, that's bad news for the House of Mouse, because, well, that's pretty much their big revenue stream right now is through theme parks. And even though that's just one of their theme parks, they've been kind of suffering in a lot of other ends of the company, like with the Disney Plus platform then losing money for them, or their movies hasn't been doing too good. Right now, Inside Out 2 is actually doing pretty well at the box office. So they do have that going from that. That's kind of an anomaly in these last couple of years, because Disney really needs to have some more success, and they can't really afford at this point to have another company like Universal taking away much needed business from them. So what's been going on with Universal? They've been kind of slow rolling some of the information that they've been releasing, because with the upcoming Epic Universe, it's actually going to be several new lands kind of all encompassed into one. And we've been getting a little bits of information from all these various lands being released over time. And now they just released their newest information about the Dark Universe section of Epic Universe, which is devoted to Universal monsters. Today, Universal revealed the scope and specifics of Dark Universe, one of the 5 immersive worlds to be featured at the all-new Universal Epic Universe, opening in 2025. Those 5 worlds are Celestial Park, the first world visitors encounter that serves as a portal to the other 4, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, the Ministry of Magic, Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and Dark Universe. Dark Universe will leverage Universal's storied history in the horror genre. Created by the Universal creative team in partnership with Universal Pictures, Dark Universe blends the iconic stories of unearthly legends like Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, the Bride of Frankenstein, and more, with a new generation of monsters and characters, including Dr. Victoria Frankenstein, the great-great-granddaughter of the infamous Henry Frankenstein, who has continued his misguided experiments. And that's actually the interesting part about this whole Dark Universe that they're having, because this is steeped in Universal history, because back decades ago, in like 30s, 40s, 50s, they had the Universal monster movies. I mean, it's just classic Universal right there. So just now creating a land dedicated to that is truly something. And I can tell this is something that the company is trying to put more effort in order to make sure that they're doing this right, because unlike other IPs that are kind of jumping on board, How to Train Your Dragon is a fairly new one. Same with Harry Potter and Super Nintendo World. That's something entirely different, but this is strictly Universal. So I can tell that they're actually trying to put forth more effort in order to make sure that this is giving visitors what they want. And judging by the video that they released, it actually does look like it will be pretty enjoyable, but let's continue on. The journey into Dark Universe begins the moment guests enter its electrified portal, which is said to harness the dark energy of Darkmoor. As guests venture through Darkmoor, the ravaged village within Dark Universe, they'll encounter the characters and subject of Frankenstein's experiments within a theme park environment that offers family-friendly fun while also pushing the boundaries on intensity. And another reason why I think this has the potential to be really lucrative for Universal Orlando is just for the simple fact that one of the busiest times of the year for Universal Orlando is during the whole Halloween Horror Nights, because a lot of people like to go to theme parks for this whole thrill aspect of it. Now, this is something that Disney really can't compete with them on that one, because they don't try to have these whole intense, scary elements at their parks. I mean, they have their whole Halloween thing, but it's the not so scary Halloween. It really attracts a different type of audience, but this one, not only does it attract an audience that Disney probably wouldn't even be trying to cater to begin with, but it also has the potential to attract them throughout the whole year too. For this, they released a video that kind of has a fly through of what's to be expected at this new park expansion for Dark Universe. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but you can take a look at some of what they have here. Keep in mind, this is just a rendering, so it's obviously putting in the best light possible. Just for the simple fact that, imagine this is like the Florida sun. You have crowds of people walking around and all that other stuff. So this isn't obviously what it's going to look like 100%. But still, this is the idea of what they're going for with this new park expansion. And just watching this video, I think it actually looks pretty good. Here, I'll full screen it so you get a better idea. I think this looks like a cool theme park because that's one of the best things about a theme park is just how well constructed it is. And if you can actually kind of lose yourself and become immersed in the environment that they're creating. And I think this is doing a pretty good job. They have several new rides that they're going to have at this section of the park too. And I think it looks like it'd be pretty fun to see. And just the simple fact that they have kind of more of a thrill, scary place at the park that's open throughout the rest of the year really has the potential to attract a lot of those audiences who like this sort of thing. But I believe I'm kind of repeating myself on this one right now. So let's go back. I'm actually curious what they're going to be doing with this here because are they going to have like the windmill on fire the whole? I don't know what they're going to do because this is just rendering. So is it going to be like something that's on fire there? Are they going to have fire on it? Or is it just going to be some of the things like fire shoots out of it every now and then? Who's to know? But I am curious to see what they're going to be doing with this. But just kind of going back to what this has to do with Disney or the potential ramifications for Disney is just the simple fact that they've had kind of an issue in the last several years because they have been kind of losing ground on other theme parks throughout the world. I mean, they've been doing fine. As you can see, Magic Kingdom in Florida, still the most visited theme park in the world, followed by their Anaheim theme park, Disneyland. But one of the curious things right here is you have Universal Studios Japan, which is the third most visited one. And take a look at these numbers right here between 2021 and 2022, because this doesn't have 23 and we're still in 24. You see in 21, it was at 5.5 million people visited that year, and then it jumped up to 12.35. And the reason why it had such a big jump is because this is when they introduced the Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios in Japan. And then you saw that huge bump because if you take 5.5 million visitors in the year 2021, let's see, the only one that, okay, so you have Disneyland in France, that was less. California Adventure for Disneyland, that was less. So there's only two parks on this list that had fewer visitors than Universal Japan. And then the next year it puts it up to number 3. And that's just with the inclusion of one land. Not only is Universal Orlando going to have a Super Nintendo World, but they're also going to have some rides that aren't at these other ones, like the Donkey Kong area. That's not at Universal Studios Japan. They're leaving room for expansion on there too. So a lot of people are thinking they might do a Legend of Zelda section of it or a Land of Hyrule attached to the Super Nintendo World. That's not confirmed or anything. It's just something that people are speculating on. In addition to that, they also have an expansion on the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, like it said, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and then this Dark Universe section of it. And right now, Universal Studios Orlando is right here. So 10.75 million visitors within this year. Now, is it going to jump up enough to surpass Magic Kingdom? Like I said, I don't necessarily know that's going to be the case, but you can foresee they're going to lose some ground to them, or they're going to gain some people. And those people are probably going to come from here because if people are visiting Orlando to go to theme parks, it's like the way it usually works is people be like, okay, I'm going to spend a few days at Disney World and I'm going to spend a couple days at Universal. Well, maybe this is going to draw some people there to be like, okay, well, maybe we'll spend an extra day at Universal and another less day at Magic Kingdom or something like that. We don't know, but I can see that being a possibility. And right now, with the way things are going, any business being taken away from Disney is not a good thing for them. And they understand this. That's why they've been asked about this during earnings call and other things like that. And Disney is insistent that they are taking steps to try to improve Magic Kingdom. But right now, it'll probably be several years off before they actually are able to do anything significant. And the stuff that they do have planned, because they do plan for some investments in their Orlando theme park, but so far, everything that they have planned is kind of just meh. It's nothing like the whole creating 5 new parks that Universal Orlando is doing. Because just take a look at some of the stuff that they actually have announced for Walt Disney World in Florida. All right. Epcot transformation now open, sort of looking different, and most of the walls are down. Okay, so they're just kind of renovating Epcot. All right. Well, I mean, it's good that they're doing that, but still, I mean, that's not super significant. Moana Journey of Water. So walk through attraction, just kind of a show. I mean, that's something, not what Universal's doing though. postponed Mary Poppins attraction, Country Bears Jamboree. So they're just kind of renovating that and updating that thing. Tiana's Bayou Adventure now open, and that's that's actually universally disliked by pretty much everyone. I mean, yeah, it's everyone doesn't like that because people who like Tiana are upset that she's not getting her own right. She's getting hand-me-downs. People who like the original Splash Mountain are upset about what they're doing with that. I've made a video already covering that, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on it. Zootopia film replacing, so they're just kind of reskinning something else. Test Track reimagined. You get the idea. They're not really doing anything too crazy with Walt Disney World in Florida, and they're trying to compete with basically several new lands that Universal is opening up. And I don't know how they're actually going to do this. I think the only reason Disney will actually still be the #1 theme park in the world after 2025 is just a simple fact that they have a lot of momentum in their favor. But that's not going to last too much longer, because pretty much after the year, Disney is going to lose all their momentum, and it's just going to be Universal is going to have all that in their favor. So even if Universal isn't going to take the lead next year, I can see in probably a couple of years, unless Disney's going to do something significant, or if Universal just completely drops the bucket on the unveiling of everything or the opening up of everything, then I can see Disney being the #2 theme park in the world, with Universal several years down the road being the #1. But I don't know, maybe Disney will do something to change course, but right now what they've announced just isn't going to cut it. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Which park would you rather spend your time on? If you can only go to one of those parks in Orlando, would it be Universal or would it be Disney World? Comment below, let me know. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to like and share the video, because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.